Hello everyone, and welcome to this Specialist Trading webinar, where today I'm excited to be talking about our new Elite Forex Trading College and what is included in the college that will be actually starting within the next 2 or 3 weeks from now. I'm also going to be talking about today in this presentation a specific method that is offered in the course, and I'll share with you how to trade it. In fact, as we look at this older chart here of the weekly chart of the Canadian dollar, even though it looks as if the market may be going sideways or appears as if there's no actual setups with a limited amount of information we're given, we'll show you how by just a few different techniques we'll be offering in the college, you could have generated a buy signal based off this bar and then been able to capture up to 1,100 pips within the next month. Now, welcome once again. My name is Steven Primo. I am the president and founder of Specialist Trading. And if you haven't gone to any of my webinars before in the past, you'll be delighted to know that we're all about educating you. We're a little bit different from other companies and other educators because that's really our only focus that we have. Our main goal is just simply to educate you. We feel the reason why most traders fail, regardless of what market, it can be stocks, futures, or the currency pairs, it's simply because you're giving your power away. You're relying on someone or something to tell you what to trade, how to trade, what market to buy or sell in, where to enter your orders, where to exit, and you really are basically taking yourself out of the game entirely. You're basically telling the markets, I have no idea what to do, tell me what to do. And that is no way to be involved in any endeavor, regardless if it's a business, if it's even something, if it's just a hobby. Now, you're using your hard-earned money to be trading, so you shouldn't be taking it that lightly. So what we do at Specialist Trading is simply provide you with all the tools and tips that you can use that have showed some amount of consistency over the years, and that basically have worked over time in terms of consistency so that you'll be able to make your own trading decisions based off of them. Now, these are all the things I've accumulated in my nearly 40 years of trading. I started trading on the floor of the Pacific Stock Exchange. I was on the floor for 16 years. 9 of those years I was a specialist. A specialist is just someone who makes markets. So if you wanted to buy or sell a particular equity, you had to go to the trader who specialized in that particular equity. So I did that for roughly 9 years. I traded through the crash of 1987 and the bull market that followed. So even though my background is in stocks, everything I learned can be applied to any market and any time frame. So with all my experience of being on the floor and then leaving the floor to manage money and to trade my own account, I know what works in terms of consistency and I know what doesn't. So I've just about traded everything around. I've traded every market environment, every market. So I can really help you, get you along the way to get on that road to consistency. So that's what we do at Specialist Trading. And that's what we're going to be doing, why I'm so excited about our new Elite Forex College, because we're going to be teaching these techniques so that you can get on that road to consistency with your Forex currency pair trading, as you'll see later on in today's presentation. Now I'm going to show you what is offered in our college, as well as a technique that is offered in our college. I'll show you exactly how to trade it in just a few moments. But as we're required to do, I ask that you please take a moment to view our disclaimer. I'm going to show you a lot of performance results using these specific techniques and all the things that are offered in our college, but please remember that we can in no way guarantee that any of the results I'm about to share with you will be repeated in the future. So once again, as you are taking a quick moment to view that, I would also like to invite each and every one of you to follow us on Twitter. You may want to copy down our handle right here so you can log on to us every day. It's at SPCLSTTRADG, obviously abbreviation for Specialist Trading. Every day I post new information, although it is rather limited, anywhere from current signals that have been generated to actual little pieces of wisdom along the way. In fact, I posted just about a week ago a really nice sell signal that occurred in the Swiss franc, and I'll show you what it was in just a few moments from now. But a lot of great information that our signals generate, as well as wisdom along the way. So feel free to follow us on Twitter. Now, once again, as I mentioned, just so that everyone understands, our main and sole purpose at Specialist Trading, our only focus, is to educate you. So you see here, my goal is to teach you. It's different from other presentations and other companies where my goal is not to force feed you signals. In other words, we're not simply a signal service. Even though we provide you with signals, they are for educational purposes only, so that you know what to look for and what to spot. But my main goal is just to teach you how to trade with the specialist edge. This is the same edge that was able to turn my trading around, the same edge that I believe has been able to sustain me for trading for nearly 40 years. And this is what I plan to do with all of my students in our college and in my presentations as well. You'll see how much time and effort we devote to educating you. So before we go on, I'm going to go on and show you what's included in the college as well as this particular trading method. If you happen to have any questions in this presentation, kindly wait till the very end, as I do with all of my presentations. It seems to flow a lot better if we wait till the very end to ask any questions. I have a lot of slides to show you, a lot of information to give you that you can start using very early as today if you like, but please wait till the very end to ask any questions. The only question I will answer is the most popular one, and that is this being recorded? Yes, it is. If you are having technical difficulties or if you have to leave early, you can't stay for the entire presentation, you can request a link to this recording from Pro Trader Strategies. It's my sister site, and they handle all of that information. So go to Pro Trader Strategies and they'll supply you with a link. Okay, so questions at the very end. Why don't we begin? And I want to first start out by sharing with you what I learned trading on the floor of the exchange, because I make no mistake about this. I really have always talked about it, so I don't want you to think and be mistaken that I've been trading perfectly from the very beginning. I struggled tremendously my first year or two on the floor, even though I had access to all this, updated information and high speed at the time information and order flow. I still had a very difficult time making ends meet with my own personal trading. I was doing everything I had been taught. I was going to all the seminars, and I still couldn't get my head above water. So my mentors, these were traders themselves who have been trading for about 40 years each, took me aside and they shared with me what it takes to be successful. And success is not about how much money you make. Success is about being consistent, because consistency will allow you to be trading 10, 20, 30, 40 years down the road. But some fly-by-night system or method that generates tons of money in 1 year and then loses it all the next, how successful is that? You want to be able to trade as long as you can, okay? So here's what I learned trading on the floor. Successful trading should be non-subjective. That means two traders looking at the same chart should come up with the same scenario. They should be able to both say, yes, this is, at least we should be shorting this. It should not be bought in any way. But how many times do you look at a stock, a currency pair, anything, and everyone comes up with a different idea? Everyone in the trading room or chat room or even your best friend down the street says, no, that should be bought, or you feel it should be sold. Trading should be non-subjective, where it's very cut and dry. Successful trading should also be consistent, all right? So what do we mean by that? Consistency simply is identifying and knowing and being aware that you will have small losses from time to time. There's nothing wrong with that. But what we're looking for, rather than the big home run with our trading, we are looking for a 2 steps forward, 1 step back progression. In other words, we know we're going to have small losses, but we want to have this nice upward slope in our equity curve along the way, rather than having this huge spike up and making a ton of money 1 month and then giving it back. That's not a consistent method. Look back at your own trading. How many of you have done that in the past, where you've had a great month and you feel very confident, and then the next couple of months you've given it all back? Well, that's the way my trading used to be, and I know it's very disheartening. It's very depressing to think, and discouraging. How much longer can I sustain myself this way? Next, successful trading should be as simple as possible. If you look at most traders who've been trading a relatively short time, 5 to 10 years is relatively short, their trading plans are extremely complicated. A lot of convoluted logic, a lot of indicators, a lot of looking at news and deciphering what something means. They're too subjective and they're very complicated. If you look at traders who've been trading 20, 30, 40 years down the road, most of their trading plans are extremely, extremely simple, maybe 4 or 5 rules tops, and they're very easy to apply and implement. So keep things as simple as possible. It's not about adding things to your trading play. It's more the opposite. It's more about taking things away. In all my years of trading, I have found that this is actually more applicable to becoming successful, as opposed to adding things onto your trading plan. And then lastly, I feel the most important, what my mentors taught me, was that successful trading should make you a part of the process. This goes back to what I first stated in the opening statements, and that most traders take themselves out of the game. You should be making your own trading decisions, okay? Remember, Specialist trading does not trade for you. That's not our goal here. We're not a signal service. We're not telling you what the best market to trade in. We're not telling you what the best time frame is. That's up for you to decide because everyone trades differently. Someone may trade aggressively. Another trader may trade conservatively. We're just giving you the tools and the techniques and the methods that have stood the test of time. We're giving you all the different variables and then working with you, mentoring you along the way so that you can decide for you how you want to apply them. That, in my way of teaching, is the only way I have seen one becomes consistent. Not by copying a signal given by someone in a trading room or a chat room, or by going to a signal service, or by doing what some trading guru says on TV. It doesn't work that way. You have to be a part of the process, okay? So this is all going to be included and applied within the college. Here is the curriculum for the college. It's 6 weeks of live trading. The first week we go through the foundation and building blocks of Forex trading. Week 2 we get into one of our best pullback strategies, which is Forex strategy number 1. In week 3 we get into probably our most consistent strategy to date, which is strategy 4. And later on in the presentation I'll show you some of the setups that were generated by strategy 4. Week number 4 we concentrate on a purely candlestick strategy, strategy number 5. Now, week number 5, everyone in my colleges loves week number 5 because that's when we go into one of our most popular tools, which is the Pat Dee. It's a short-term trend identifier, and I show you all the different ways to use it. In fact, I'm going to be sharing with you one of the many ways in which to use it today with the method I'll be sharing with you. Finally, week 6, we put it all together. We talk about advanced trade management and putting it all together and then answer any questions you have along the way. So it's a great structure, a great curriculum. Remember, these are live classes. We will have these classes most likely within the next 2 or 3 weeks from now, and we will set times so that everyone can attend because we have students from all over the country as well as all over the world. We've had people from China, Australia, Europe, United States, so it doesn't matter. And if you aren't able to make one or all of the live sessions, we record everything so you can study them at your own leisure. So it's something that, you know, it's not that restrictive where you have to actually always be there. All right, now let's talk about week 5, the Pat Dee, because as I said, that's probably one of the most popular tools we have. It is one of the most consistent tools. But once again, it is not a system or a strategy. It is simply a trend identifier, but there are many ways to apply this tool to your trading. Let me share with you some of the ways. In fact, we're going to talk about continuation trading with the Pat Dee, okay? Now, once again, we see a lot of people in the class today. If you came in late, if you have any questions while I go over this particular technique, please wait till the very end to ask questions, okay? All right, let's talk about continuation trading. For those of you who aren't familiar or have never heard of what continuation trading is, let's give you a brief refresher course of what continuation trading is. Here's the standard definition. Continuation patterns occur mid-trend and are a pause in the price action of varying duration. So basically, we have a trend that's underway, and then there's a period in which things kind of just pause. We either go sideways or down a bit, but we're still within the trend. Now, when these patterns occur, it can indicate that the trend is likely to resume after the pattern completes. So they pause or rest for a while before they resume whatever direction the trend is. Now, a pattern is considered complete when the pattern has formed and then breaks out of that pattern, potentially continuing on with the former trend. So we're looking for some type of breakout of that little pause. And this is the structure we're looking for. Remember, we talked about how trading should be non-subjective. You should be able to look at it. So we share with you exactly what you should be looking for, and it makes it really easy so that you don't have to come up to the plate every day and look at the chart and go, well, wow, what's the market going to do today? I have no idea. I don't know. That's the way most traders trade. We're giving you all the information and making it simple. So it's very easy to see. In fact, let me show you how simple this is. All right, here are the continuation technique requisites. In other words, this is what you're going to need for this particular pattern we're using. The first thing is we're going to be looking at a 3-bar pivot high. So what exactly is that? It's obviously a 3-bar pattern. And this is a pivot high. So you have 3 bars, and it doesn't matter if these are 5-minute bars. It doesn't matter if they're weekly bars. It doesn't matter if they're daily or monthly bars. It makes no difference. You're going to be looking for the same pattern, okay? So bar number 1 has a high, okay, right here. bar number 2's high is higher than bar number 1, and bar number 3's high is less than bar number 2. All right, so you create this type of a arrowhead. You see that right there? This is a 3-bar pivot high. Now, we also are going to be using a 3-bar pivot low. It makes things simple because it's just the opposite of what we looked at. Now we have 3 bars, and bar number 1's low is created. Bar number 2's low is lower than bar number 1, and bar number 3's low is higher than bar number 2. So you've created this kind of a V approach here, okay? Very simple, very easy to spot. Now, how are we going to apply them? Well, we need one more tool to help us, and this is what's included in the course. This is the Pat Dee. Now, you can trade this technique without the Pat Dee, but the Pat Dee will ramp it up into really consistent trading. Remember, we're trying to be consistent traders. Without the Pat Dee, you might have some great wins and then some great losses. With the Pat Dee, you'll ramp it up to that 2 steps forward, 1 step back approach. All right, once again, what is the Pat Dee? Just for those of you who may have joined us late or aren't familiar with it, it's a proprietary color bar algorithm. I was introduced to this some 35, 40 years ago on the floor, and at that time we simply called it the formula because it was a formula we had to calculate at the end of each bar. The only trouble was we couldn't use it for intraday trading because by the time you finished the calculation, it was time for another bar to be set up, and so it was just too difficult to do on a intraday time frame. So we could only use it for daily bars. But because of now, 40 years later, high-speed computers and programmers, we've been able to make it into a color bar algorithm. So if you see a series of green bars, now you know that the short-term uptrend is in place. Conversely, if you see a series of red bars, you know that the short-term trend is down. So it's that simple. So how are we going to use it with this 3-bar pattern? Well, here are the rules for buying now. The currency pair creates a 3-bar pivot high, okay, that first screenshot we share with you. Now the 3-bar pivot high and all the following bars are colored green. Buy when price trades 1 to 3 pips above that 3-bar pivot high. That's it. That's how simple this is. So if we look at this, here's the 3-bar pivot high that we talked about earlier. Remember, you have a high, bar number 1, followed by a higher high, then a lower high. Well, we want to make sure that all of these 3 bars are colored green. There's nothing we have to figure out, no formula we have to do, no news we have to listen to, no tons of indicators. That's it. And then as long as all the bars stay green, once we cross above the high of this 3-bar pivot high, we're buying. That's how simple it is. All right, now how do we sell if we want to use the same technique? Well, the currency pair creates a 3-bar pivot low. Remember, it can be a 5-minute chart, a tick chart, or a monthly chart. Does not make any difference. The 3-bar pivot low and all the following bars must be colored red. Why they need to be colored red? Because that's telling us that the trend is down. And we're simply going to sell when price trades 1 to 3 pips below the 3-bar pivot low. Now, the reason why we say 1 to 3 pips below, because it's up to you. Some of our traders say the second it trades 1 pip below, I'm selling. I'm selling at the market. Others would say, no, Steve, I need a little bit more confirmation. Some people even take 5 to 10 pips. That's perfectly okay. It's up to you. So here's the 3-bar pivot low. All right, bar number 1 makes a low, 2 makes a lower low, lower than bar number 1, and 3 makes a higher low. So you have this type of V. Now, this is what we use for selling, but we have to have all the bars red. As long as all the bars remain red and we trade below that low of the 3-bar pivot low, we go short. All right. So let's show you some continuation technique examples in action. We'll show you how simple this is. Here's the Swiss franc, all right? As we can see, it has been going higher. What most people, usually the way most people trade, well, they say, well, Steve, this is overbought. All my indicators, my oscillators, and my proprietary tools, and plus the institutions and all the big houses are selling this because it's gone up too high. We need a little sell-off first, okay? And so I'm going to sell this because it's probably going to roll over and come back, 50% retracement. So that's the way I usually trade. All right. We don't need to overcomplicate our trading with all of that subjective mumbo jumbo. It's too subjective. What do we need to know? We just need to listen to what the market is telling us. So if we add the Pat Dee, we see that firstly, we have a 3-bar pivot high right here, and all of the bars are green. So the market is telling us that we've made a little pause here by that 3-bar pivot high, and that the trend is up. So if all the bars remain green and we trade 1 to 3 pips above, we're going to buy. So there's no reason to listen to volume or news or economic indicators. It's silly. Just listen to what the market's telling you. All right, so let's take it step by step and let's see if the bars remain green. Well, the next day we went up a little bit. They were still green. We went up a little bit more, and on this day we traded above. Now, as you can see, we traded above. We do not have to close there. All we need to do is trade above, and that would have been your entry point. And in the next 3 to 4 weeks, we went up another 350 pips, okay? It's that simple. Trading doesn't have to be complicated. You just have to know what to listen to. And most of us aren't listening to the most important thing. We're listening to news, or we're listening to what the institutions are doing. It's silly. That's too subjective. Trust me, I was doing that 40 years ago, and it didn't work for me. Just listen to the market. Simplify your trading. It's a lot easier to be consistent. How about the Australian dollar? Well, obviously it looks like we're in a downtrend, but once again, the way most people trade is they say to themselves, no, it's gone down way too low. All of the indicators are oversold. You have to buy this. In fact, we have a really nice discrepancy here. This low and then a lower low, but it was not confirmed with the oscillator. So this is telling me that we should buy here. That's too subjective. Just simply apply what we've taught you. Here's a 3-bar pivot low, and now apply the Pat Dee. Now someone would say, well, Steve, here was a 3-bar pivot low, 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 higher low. You're right, but we need all 3 bars to be colored red, and this first one was green, and then as we see here, we turned green again later. Remember, we create a pivot low, we have all of the bars red, and then we need them all to remain red until we cross below. And we didn't have to wait much longer, because on the very next day we crossed below. You could have sold the Australian dollar, and once again, in the next 2 or 3 weeks, 300 pips to the downside. Why? Because the market was telling us it was going lower through the Pat Dee, and we just waited for some type of continuation technique with that 3-bar pivot low. That's it. Those are the only 2 things we're really using. How about the British pound? Same thing. We have a 3-bar pivot high. All the bars are green. All right. So we're going to buy if we trade above there, and we only have to trade above there. You notice I didn't say we have to close above there. Just has to trade 1 to 3 pips, and you could have entered another 250 pips to the upside. How about a weekly chart of the Canadian dollar? This is what I started off today's presentation with. Someone could have said, well, how could you have gotten long there? What would you have seen to get you long the Canadian dollar on a weekly time frame? It really didn't. It seemed to be going sideways. Well, we have a 3-bar pivot high. We have a high followed by a higher high and then a lower high. So we have this type of arrowhead approach, and for the last 6 or so bars, all the bars have been green. So right back here on this particular week, the Canadian dollar was telling us it's in an uptrend. So we knew well ahead that we were in an uptrend. We just want to buy if we trade above here on a weekly time frame, and that's what we did. You had 1,100 pips to work with in your favor. Now, obviously, in the course, we talk about stop placement, we talk about exits, we talk about money management. I'm just sharing with you the technique for entry at this point. I can't give away everything that's in the course. It wouldn't be fair to the people that have already purchased. Here's a monthly chart just to show you that it works in any market, any time frame. Here's the dollar yen. As you can see, someone looking at this would say, gosh, how did I know this was going to go up? Well, the Pat Dee knew well back here that we were going higher because it was already signaling an uptrend. So that's all you have to know, is that the Pat Dee is just simply translating what the market wants to do. It's not telling you what the market wants to do. It's not predicting. It just translates what the market wants to do. And then we simply have to, once we know what the market wants to do, we find that short-term pivot high, and if you purchase there, well, that's 2,000 pips to the upside coming into this year. We can also apply it to intraday trading. Okay, here's a pivot low here. Oh, actually, no, here's one right here. Low followed by a lower low, higher low. So even before the sell-off occurred in the euro dollar, we knew to go short here, and on a 60-minute time frame, well, there's 70 pips to the downside really quickly. And a lot of people say, well, Steve, what happens when the trend changes? I mean, am I always going to get, guaranteed results? No, nothing is guaranteed. As I stated, we're looking for 2 steps forward, 1 step back. What does that 1 step back mean? Well, it means that from time to time you will have some small manageable losses, but that's okay. As long as you can get back in and have a trade technique that is consistent, you'll be most of the time able to make back those losses. Let me show you what I mean here in this Canadian dollar setup. We were originally going down and then we changed and went back up. So how could we have taken advantage of that? Well, we add the Pat Dee, and as we're going lower, we look for that sell setup. There's a pivot low, and then we went down 250 pips to the downside. Once we had consecutive green bars, well, then we change our course of thinking and we look for a buy setup, and then it was 250 pips to the upside. So trading is simple when you're in sync with the trend and you're using techniques that have consistency. 2 step forward, 1 step back. Now, these methods work best with currency pairs, as I just shared with you. The method I just shared with you works extremely well with currency pairs because of the way currencies trend. But the beauty is, a lot of our traders like to trade multiple markets. So you can also apply them with the same rules to stocks, ETFs, futures, E-mini futures, and commodities. So it really doesn't matter. So if you say, well, Steve, I don't just trade currency pairs, I also trade futures. Great. So you're getting kind of a 2-for-1 deal here. You can apply the same things to other markets, other time frames. Makes no difference. Let me share with you some signals that were generated in stocks. Here was a signal generated in to go long. I believe this was strategy number 4, a buy signal in CVX, and generated 9 points in 3 weeks. The same strategy you get in the Forex College. Works to the downside as well. PRGO, all right? Looked like it was going sideways here, but we had a sell signal generated to go short. 30 points in 2 weeks. Obviously, there was some news that caused this to go down. We don't suggest to any of our members to overcomplicate their trading by looking at the news. If you like to look at the news, that's fine, but there's no room for it in any of our techniques because that is too subjective. How many times have you thought there's a great news event coming out and it goes the opposite direction? So if you want to look at news, you're more than happy to look at it, but we don't suggest it or require it at all. Obviously, there was some news that caused this to drop down 30 points in 2 weeks. Did we know about that news in advance? Absolutely not. We take all of our information from the market, and the market tells you most likely in advance what it's going to be doing. The only trouble is we've been trained to listen to something else other than the market. Some guy in a chat room, some guy on TV, some tremendous indicator that somebody put together. All right. Best thing is just to learn how to listen to the market. It's a lot simpler and also a lot cheaper. You don't have to spend so much time and effort and money trying to figure out what these other people or indicators are telling you. This also can be applied to ETFs. Here's the IWM ETF on the Russell 2000. A buy signal was generated and the stock went up 8 points in 1 month, which really symbolized hundreds of points in the market. You can also use this for futures. Here's a 15-minute chart of the E-mini. A sell signal was generated right here. Okay, it looked like it went down a little bit, but if you were lucky enough to hold on for the remainder of the next session, well, you would have had a nice gap to the downside. And then lastly, commodities. Here's crude oil, okay, coming into May, June of this last year. Strategy number 4, which is one of the best strategies in terms of consistency that we have. You're getting that in the college, and generated 2 buy signals in crude oil. Okay, so it really doesn't matter what market. The beauty of this is that they work great in other markets as well as the currency pairs. Now, as an extra bonus, we're also throwing in ATM. This is a great, another tool, a technique I was first taught on the floor of the exchange, and it stands for Advanced Trade Management. I use this in all of my training, and it really helps me to be more consistent. So we're ramping it up even more. In fact, this technique is really so special, such an extra bonus. We only offer it in our trading colleges. We don't have a separate course for it. We don't offer it as a separate package. It is that valuable. It's only for our college students. And all I can tell you without giving too much away is it's a technique designed to really focus in on managing when you should be trading and when you shouldn't. Because if we look at this older chart of the euro dollar here, we see that when your strategy or trading method is in sync with the market, it tends to produce a lot of winning signals, such as this example right here. As you see, all of the trading setups that were generated produced winning signals here, okay? But then when the market environment changes, the same strategy generated nothing but losing signals. Now, this happens many times when the market goes into these summer month low liquidity, as you see now in currency pairs and with some stocks and futures, where we just dry up and nothing happens. That tends to happen a lot before big event announcements or in the summertime, especially August and such. So what advanced trade management will do will tell you when you should be trading your method and when you shouldn't. It's that great of a technique, and we only apply it in the college. We're also, as I said earlier, giving you our most popular tool, which is the Pat Dee. Now, as you can see here, the beauty of the Pat Dee is that it tells you which direction you should be trading. And once you know that, you can virtually apply any strategy to that direction. So if you have a strategy now that you like to trade, but is okay, it's not producing great results, but they're all right, we really feel strongly that the Pat Dee will increase your odds for success, regardless of what technique or what method you use. It can be one of ours in the college, it can be something else that you're using as well. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, well, Steve, do I really need the Pat Dee? Because now that you've taught me this technique of this method now with the 3-bar pivot high, the 3-bar pivot low, you know, I kind of know what the trend is. If something is really trending strongly, I can figure that out. So why would I need this? I think I'll just start trading that technique you just share with us, and I don't need the Pat Dee. Well, this is what a lot of people say, and then inevitably they come back with us wanting to sign up for the college or one of our courses because they generate a lot of losers. Here's a perfect example. Someone looking at this would say, well, the Australian dollar is obviously in a downtrend. And what do we have here? We have a 3-bar pivot low. We have a low created by a lower low and then a higher low. So we're in a downtrend here. I'm just going to sell, okay? I'm going to sell right here on this bar because we opened and then started a real major sell-off, okay? There's news that's coming out of the Australian dollar, the economic indicators. This big, large move to the downside indicates that it's going to have more movement to the downside. So I don't really need the Pat Dee. I know we're in a very strong downtrend. Well, let's apply the Pat Dee. As we can see here, in order for this technique to work, you need all of the bars to be red. And as we can see in this 3-bar pattern, the first bar, bar number 1 was green. Sure, bar number 2 was red, but not bar number 3 was green. So we never would have taken this setup because it didn't meet the requirements. And it would have been a good idea not to, because the Pat Dee was telling us there's no clear-cut trend here. And as you can see, it eventually changed into an uptrend, and you would have lost a lot of money depending on where you would have placed your stop. It would have been a lot easier and a lot more consistent had you just applied the Pat Dee and then waited for a valid setup such as this one to the upside, gone long here, and then take advantage of that up move, okay? This is why we say the Pat Dee is so important. It's such a finely tuned tool telling you what the trend is. Why? Because it translates not what some guy in a chat room is telling you, but it translates what the market is telling you what it wants to do. Now, the beauty of the Pat Dee is that you can also use it long term. We know a lot of our traders like to trade long term. They like to apply it for weekly, even monthly charts. So let me show you an example of how well that works on a long-term chart of the S&P 500 index. Okay, these are monthly bars of the S&P going back to 1995, roughly about 21 years ago. And we can see all the peaks and valleys in the S&P in this monthly chart. We see how we rallied up, going all the way up into 2000, into the dot-com crash that bottomed out in 2003. And then we started to go higher again in 2004 until we met the banking crisis, financial crisis, in 2008, and then we had another crash again. It wasn't until roughly 2010 where we started to slowly go our way back up, and now as you can see, we've rallied to brand new highs, and now question marks. Everyone's wondering, well, when's this going to top out? Because we've been in a sustained uptrend for quite a bit. Are we headed into some type of top now where we're going to roll over? Wouldn't you like to know? Well, if we applied the Pat Dee, the way we use it for longer term setups is we need to see 3 bars of a new color to tell us that a trend has been confirmed and now we've changed trends. So let's apply the Pat Dee. Now we can see that we were green the entire way up. Sure, we had one red bar here, which I believe was in 1998, but then we continued up. Remember, we need 3 bars of a completely different color to tell us the trend has changed. And right here In late 2000, you would have known to get out of the market because we have 3 consecutive red bars and you would have missed all this downside. Then when 3 green bars appeared in 2003, you could have gotten back into the market, ridden it all the way back up until 2007. At the end of 2007, you would have gotten out because of their 3 red bars. And if you were more inclined, if you're a more aggressive trader, you could have gotten short and taken advantage of this big crash to the downside with the financial crisis we had, the big recession in 2008. Then in 2009, 3 green bars appeared, and we have been consistently green. Sure, we've had a couple of red bars, but we need 3 red bars to tell us that we've changed to a downtrend. So far we've had 2 here in 2015, another 2 more in the beginning of 2016, but we remain green. So with this tool, you'll be able to know in advance when a large trend change is going to happen. So that's the beauty of the Pat Dee. It not only works with tick charts and weekly and daily bars, you can also apply it to monthly bars as well for any market in any direction. So once again, before we go to question and answers, here is the curriculum. 6 weeks of solid training, 3 great strategies, strategy 1, 4, and 5, some of our best strategies in terms of consistency. Our most popular tool to date, the Pat Dee, is included. This is its own course. People, when I tell you this course runs by itself for thousands and thousands of dollars just to get the Pat Dee by itself. And then we also go into advanced trade management, that's the ATM, and putting it all together. Now, one of the other bonuses that we didn't talk about is that you also for a time will get email alerts. Now remember, we are not a signal service. We are simply an educational company, but we provide you with these signals so that you'll know what to look for. So they are for educational purposes so that you can basically check your work. So as you're learning what to look for the requirements of a strategy, we send you these emails to know what to spot. Now, on the 10th of August, just last week, this was emailed out to our Forex users, our Forex students, that a signal was generated in the Swiss franc, okay, to go short. Now, as we see here, if you were in the course and you had been taking our courses for a while, you wouldn't be getting this because you already know what to look for. That's our goal, so that you actually know what to look for. But on the 10th, a signal was generated to go short the Swiss franc, okay? Now, once again, we don't look at any news. We're not relying on anything other than what the market is telling us. Now, the strategy, I believe strategy 4 generated a sell signal. But just to confirm it, one of the things that is the beauty of what we're offering in the course, we can confirm it with the Pat Dee. In other words, the day the signal is generated, we want to get a confirmation with the Pat Dee. So in other words, if we get a sell signal, we want the Pat Dee to color that bar on the 10th red. So now if you're a member of the college, you can simply add the Pat Dee, and you can see that that day the bar was colored red. So the Pat Dee is also telling you that this signal has been confirmed. And if you've been watching the Swiss franc, well, it's gone down roughly about 150 pips in 1 week since that signal was generated. So this is a great source of information as an educational source, though. We're not trying to tell you what to buy and sell on a daily basis. You should be able to, once you understand the process, learn to spot on your own. These are what traders are saying that have took our college course in the past. But let me share with you what someone said that was a really nice testimonial. And he starts out by saying, Steven, I have been day trading Forex for some time. I was hanging in there with good money management, but I was not really making any money. Since discovering you, the 50-period simple moving average, and using strategy number 4 since September 19th, I've logged in 873 pips and have 5 open trades sitting at 631 pips, all in the market. Missed a few. I only have to review the charts twice a day, which allow me more trades and at a lower risk than daily. Plus, I get to golf and read more. What can I say? But thank you for the education. And this is what really makes me happy. Not thank you for the signals and for the strategy rules, but for the education, because now he has a great future to look forward to because he can sustain himself with this education. So this is what we really want to give you, education so that you can be on your own. There's no reason why you're required to come back and find out what to do on a daily basis. That goes entirely against our philosophy. So let's recap. Here's what you're going to get. 6 full weeks of trading tools and techniques, 3 proprietary Forex strategies. We're going to teach you exact stop placement, exits, and profit targets. We didn't go into that today, but trust me, that's what you'll receive. And you're going to get a lot of places in which to place your stops, a lot of areas for exits, and a lot of places for profit targets. And we'll share with you exactly what they are, and then you can decide what feels best for you. We will also give you the educational signal services for a time so that you can learn what to spot and what to look for on your own. Remember, we teach conservative and aggressive versions. So if you don't like to trade conservatively, we teach you how to trade aggressively to get the most bang for your buck. We also include for bonuses the ATM, Advanced Trade Management, as well as the Pat Dee. And I think probably the most important thing about this is that we're not just sharing with you some CD or some online trading course and just saying good luck. You're getting 39 years of trading experience as your personal mentor. I'll be there with you every step of the way, so anytime you have a question, you can always contact me and I'll try and answer it so that best makes you feel comfortable in understanding the process, okay? So you're getting all this included with the college course. And remember, what my mentors taught me and what has sustained me for nearly 40 years is that trading should be non-subjective, it should be consistent, it should be as simple as possible so that someone, either they've been trading 30 years or 30 minutes, should be able to easily understand what we're talking about and should make you a part of the process. Most especially make you a part of the process. This is what's included in the college. All right, so as you can see here, you'll get instant access as well as lifetime correspondence with myself. It's not going to be just something that for 6 weeks you get to correspond with me and then it's over. You get everything included as well as lifetime correspondence. Remember, just the Pat Dee alone costs thousands and thousands of dollars. Here's what we're offering you today as our special deal. The course usually costs $49.95. What we're doing is dropping it down, an early bird registration for $44.95, and we're including payment plans. So if you like to put down a small deposit, you can still be in the course up and running roughly in about 3 weeks from now. You can still attend the classes and just have a payment plan going that fits your needs. And this also includes the 1 year of trade signals. But remember, this is for a limited time only because we're going to be starting the college very, very soon. So you want to get signed up before we close it and before there's no more room left, because we don't want to have it for hundreds and hundreds of people. We like to keep our colleges just very, comfortable and cozy so that, you can get that kind of one-on-one feel with me in the live classes. So here's how to take advantage of this great deal. Contact Pro Trader Strategies. Once again, they handle all of my courses and all of my correspondence. Just simply contact them through email, trading@Pro Trader Strategies. You can also call them directly at area code 310-598-6677. And I would suggest probably doing that because they can give you more information about signing up with a payment plan, and that will make you more comfortable. If you can't make that lump sum, you can come up with a small deposit and still be in the classes, which start very soon. And if you like to just sign up automatically, there's the link that you go to at the very bottom, but that's not live. You're going to have to copy and paste that onto your browser in order to go to that sign up page. But if you see there on the chat box on the far right hand corner, they have put up the live link there. So you can simply go to that, the chat box on the far right, and that will set up and have you go exactly to the live link. I'm going to leave all this information up while we have the last 10 or 15 minutes here for any questions that you may have. But remember, once again, the special discount is just for the next few days, and it includes everything, all the things we talked about included, as well as 39 years of experience as your personal mentor. And you also have payment plans for a limited time only. So the best thing I would suggest would be to contact Pro Trader Strategies by calling them at the number right here in front of you. Okay, let me open up the question and answer box, and thank you for holding off on any questions. Let me see here. First question I see is, can we use this strategy on other time frames? In other words, 15 minutes, 30 minutes? Sure. I don't know if you came in late, Emmanuel, but I stated you can use it on virtually any market and any time frame. So it does not matter, even though the majority of the slides I just presented were on daily charts. I did show some monthly charts, I showed some weekly charts, and you can also use it for 15, 10 minutes. We have some traders who only use it on tick charts because it works so well. Now, I personally like to use it on range bars. You can use it on range bars. Absolutely makes no difference. So it's up to you. You can use it with candlesticks. We're not looking for anything that cannot be applied to any type of time frame or any type of bar. You know, it's not that specialized. Remember, we want to keep things simple. We don't want to just say, well, you can only use it in this time frame and only uses if the market's going up. I mean, that's too restrictive. So our methods work great on any time frame, any market, any direction in terms of consistency. Okay. And remember, this is 6 weeks of live training. So we're not going to, just say that you get recordings of this. You will be able to discuss with me over the internet. We'll be able to talk in classes such as what we're doing right now in live classes. We haven't discussed yet what day we will be presenting because we want to give everyone the opportunity to decide what the best day is. Even if we have to do it on a weekend, we may do it on a weekend, but we can also do it during market hours as well, okay? Hi, Wayne. Wayne asked, do these strategies work in other markets or just for the Forex? No, Wayne, they work in other markets as well. They work in, I showed you some examples in stocks. I also showed you some examples for the futures and commodities. I showed you a couple of really nice buy signals in crude oil. So it absolutely makes no difference. If you want to trade multiple markets at a time, it works great. So that's one of the extra bonuses you're getting, even though we didn't really mention it in terms of the ad copy. The other bonus you get in terms of what's offered is that you can use these for other markets, multiple markets. So a lot of our members like to trade Forex markets as well as stocks and futures. That's great. Use the same rules, the same requirements, and you can apply them just as easily. Okay. Remember, if you want to take advantage of any type of payment plans, meaning that all you have to do is come up with a small deposit and you can be up and running in the classes in the next 3 or 4 weeks, contact Pro Trader Strategies. They can set a payment plan up with you very simply and very easily. So you don't have to come up with the one lump sum. You can come up with a small deposit. You can still take advantage of everything included and then have monthly payments, okay? Now, as you've just seen here, this is all information, strategies, tools, techniques, and money management techniques in the Pat Dee that I've accumulated, and it's taken me roughly 40 years to accumulate all this information, okay? You're going to be getting this jam-packed in 6 weeks. So that's how great this is, because you're going to really shorten your learning curve. You won't have to be around for 10, 20 years in order to become a consistent trader. You'll be able to get this in 6 weeks. You can start applying it right away. We have homework assignments. You'll be able to test to see if you're really understanding it. You'll be able to correspond with me and really make sure that you're understanding and absorbing the information. Once again, this information took me years to absorb. You'll be getting it in 6 weeks so that your learning curve is really, really shortened. So it's really a great program. I can't stress enough, if you struggled with any of trading in any markets, regardless if it's not currency pair, it could be stocks, futures, you really need to jump on board, because this is going to be starting very shortly before we close it up, okay? So as we close up the presentation for today, I can't stress enough, contact Pro Trader Strategies. The best thing would be to call them directly at the number provided there, and they can fill you in with the information needed for payment plans, for any type of sign up with this discount, and they can get you up and running so you can be ready for the classes, which start in roughly about 3 weeks, okay? In conclusion, I want to thank you so much for attending today. I hope you got something out of this, and I really look forward to all of you becoming consistent traders in the currency pairs, but most especially, I look forward to all of you becoming students of mine at Specialist Trading. Thank you so much. I hope to see you in the class in the college. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.